When did you start collecting?
I think I always was collecting, because when I came back to the States and started the textile swatch business, one of the first troves was in the attic of the house where I grew up, all the remnants of my own sewing. So the first collections that I made with an idea to document and build something larger out of them were the ones in Peru. That's where I settled, and I had time and did it in a studious way.
How big is your current collection?
My current collection is way too large.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I have about 700 kimono. I have about 400 hand-woven pieces from Peru. I have 40,000 textile design swatches, and it just goes on from there.
I mean, how do you feel about that collection at this point, looking back on the last 20, 30 years of collecting?
The last 20 or 30 years of collecting have been mainly for the textile swatch collection, and I think I might have told you already that I started that with only Japanese swatches when I returned from Japan and set up the business in New York City. So the first thing I had to do was fill in a huge amount of Western material. I made a number of collecting trips to England. I was interested in techniques such as the hand block linens from England, old paisley shawls that were available there. The post-war conversationals from England were a bit different from the American ones, and I started getting a play of scale, and even within America, collecting the California textiles that were produced for those very large environments were different from what came out of 7th Avenue, so different plays of scale. Chicago school was also different. You have all those screen prints that people were doing, the Cranbrook crowd and the home design people there. So you had regional differences of what was being produced in America. The conversationals from England were a bit smaller, and as I was started to sell designs, I had to keep adjusting myself. Canada was located for bed linens, for example, somewhere between the traditional styles of England and the much looser styles of America was Canada. Then, Canada was not just Canada. Canada has a French-Canadian market, which is much more contemporary than the English. So the one I talked about first, saying it was between America and England, that's for the Anglo market in Canada. But the French market have bed linens that are developed for their taste, which is black and white, more contemporary, certainly not roses, you know. All these little niche markets exist, and it's fascinating just to see how people make their choices.